Are you team potato or team sweet potato? Guten Yardening, everybody. Well, we're coming up on some of our favorite parts of the harvesting season here in Zone 5, Wisconsin, because we're in potato harvest season and we're almost to sweet potato harvest time, and those are two of our absolute favorite crops to grow here at Guten Yardening. Today I'm going to give you a short tour / update of the different growing styles we have for our potatoes and our sweet potatoes. Now, at the beginning of this video, I asked you if you were on team potato or team sweet potato. Now, you can take that to mean whatever you'd like, if you prefer one more than the other one, but what I'm looking for is whether or not you think we're going to get more potatoes by weight or more sweet potatoes by weight by the end of all of our harvests. So, I'm gonna show you what we have growing, and you can be the judge and let us know in the comments what you think. Now, I'm asking you to do this because at the end of our growing season, once we've harvested everything and totaled it all up, well, you'll see we're going to have one of the biggest giveaways we've ever done on our channel in celebration. But you have to let us know what you think. More potatoes or more sweet potatoes? So down in the comments below, let us know, are you team potato or team sweet potato? One other thing, stay tuned through the whole video because we have a little surprise for you coming up. Well, I want to start by updating you on our potatoes. First of all, if you didn't watch our Purple Magic Molly potato harvest, or you don't know how much we got from this 22 square feet of space here that's now been replaced with these fall vegetables in here, you need to check that video out. We had a wonderful harvest and you might get inspired to even plant that variety. And on top of that, you want to stay tuned for this week's video where we show you our harvest from our green stalk vertical garden, which has now been replaced by more fall vegetables. We also just wrapped up our volunteer potato harvest and successively planted here as well. So those are videos you're going to need to either catch up on or watch out for here in the near future. But we still have a ton of potatoes to harvest. Here is our Ruth Stout bed, and I am shocked by this really, but the flowers are still around. You know, last year when we grew our Ruth Stout, we had a slightly difficult time even getting the potatoes to be as green as we would like. And now it seems like they're never gonna die back. But that being said, there are 3 varieties in here and we are super excited to see what that harvest looks like. We also have potatoes growing in these black containers. Now, last year, we only grew sweet potatoes in our black containers like this, but this year we're trying to see if that color, that black color actually helps and makes a difference with these Adirondack blue potatoes. And as you can see, we're getting pretty close on this harvest. And we also have multiple of these gray plastic containers. Again, all of this food safe. It'll never grow in any kind of plastic that's not food safe, but we have multiple plastic containers here with our late season variety as well. Oh, and let's not forget something that I haven't actually shown you this season. These are hanging basket potatoes that we're gonna see how well they perform. Now, the one thing I did show you was our homemade shepherd's hook, and you can see they are hanging in there quite nicely, literally. But take a look at the potatoes coming off of here. We're getting flowering off of here. And these are going to be later because we actually started them later. So we could have longer harvests or harvests that were more spaced out over time. And finally, for our potatoes, we have multiple. We have about 5 of these 20-gallon grow bags of potatoes out here. Again, later in the season, this harvest is going to happen. And so we've got lots of potatoes still to come, plus the ones we've already harvested. Now, I think we can probably agree that for a property our size and for the amount of variety of vegetables that we're growing, that's a lot of space dedicated to potatoes. But again, that goes back to our absolute love of potatoes. And what follows is our love of sweet potatoes. So I'm going to show you around so you can get a good feel for how much we might have in the ground. Out here in our front yard and space behind these fantastic nasturtiums, look at that color. We have the only sweet potatoes that we're growing in ground. We typically don't raise our sweet potatoes in ground. We found a lot of success in containers and raised beds, but this year we're trying something in our no-till front garden space. Now you can see we have flowers on this one, and so we're getting to that stage where, well, it looks like anyway, it's spreading nicely and hopefully producing some nice roots underneath. Another thing we've done this year, similar to last year, except hopefully these bales are in better shape. We have some sweet potatoes growing in our hay bales. Now we have that in front of our house because we love the way these leaves look, and the flowers are also quite beautiful. But we also have them growing all along in the hay bale garden behind our main garden. As I look down here, the whole length of this, you can see interspersed in these bales different sweet potatoes. Now, some of them are farther along than others. Some of these bales were far more dedicated, like this one, to sweet potatoes than others. So we don't really know what to expect from this harvest, but we have them growing and we're excited to see. One of our favorite videos from last year was our sweet potato harvest from these black containers. That's one of the reasons why we got more and planted some potatoes in it this year as well. And you can see these sweet potatoes are coming along nicely. One of the things I absolutely love about sweet potatoes is how they just take over a space and just keep expanding. This is a 3x6 bed, but you couldn't tell that by the blanket of sweet potatoes on here. Now, one of the nice things about all of these sweet potatoes in here, and actually all but the ones in our main bed, we started them all from sweet potatoes we harvested in the past. So these are from slips that we grew ourselves. And you can see some of the damage from our Japanese beetles from earlier in the season, but these are such wonderful plants that they overcame that. And once the Japanese beetles left, well, they kept growing. And down below here, we should have some amazing sweet potatoes. And our biggest bed of sweet potatoes, this is a 6x6 bed filled with 3 different varieties of sweet potatoes. And we did a video earlier in the season about those varieties. One of them is the Osaka sweet potato, which is white on the outside and kind of purple and white inside. We're super excited to see how that one turns out. Now I have to come in here at a bit of a weird angle for this last set of sweet potatoes here, because this is the sweet potato that we planted in our compost. And you can see as I come in a little bit closer here, the sweet potato in compost, the leaves are looking great. We had a good bit of Japanese beetle damage early on, so we're really not sure how well this one in particular performed, but we're gonna find out in the not too distant future. Now, while the sweet potatoes up here in our main raised bed have been in here for just over 90 days, down here in these little containers, we have some sweet potatoes that we've been following and that we use to create the sweet potato slips that we planted. These have been in here for quite a while, and that's going to enable us to give you a sneak peek at a sweet potato harvest here toward the middle of September. Now, we leave our sweet potatoes in the ground as long as we can, and so sometimes it gets a little bit difficult to wait. So this is a good idea if you're somebody who may be a little impatient, maybe wants to see or judge how the crop in the main garden is doing, or if you're somebody like us that again just wants that opportunity to not have to wait any longer to see what's going on. Let's break it apart and see if there's anything inside. All right, here we go. This would be from this single plant. So this is one plant in here, by the way. This is one plant, the sweet potatoes that we got from here. I'm so used to harvesting potatoes, you sometimes forget just how long these sweet potatoes are. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick it up just like this so I don't break anything. I'm gonna pick it off by the greens. See if I can turn this around and let you see just how awesome these sweet potatoes look. Take a look at that. So this is from, again, right here, let me show you on top. This plant, this is the mother sweet potato. This is what we just planted directly. This is where we got a ton of our slips from. And now this one's rotting a little bit, but underneath it has provided us with some beautiful sweet potatoes. So this should be at least somewhat indicative of what's happening on a much bigger scale in our garden. Now, the thing to remember when you're harvesting your sweet potatoes is that being careful is essential. These are often like this, capable of breaking apart, and so you want to keep them as whole as possible. So you want to take as much care as possible when you're pulling them out. Look at this one. This one extends the whole way around. That's all one sweet potato. You know what? I'm gonna go get a pair of clippers so I can cut this one loose. All right, there we go. If I can get it through all these roots. Look at this mass of roots that we have in here. Such a healthy plant. Tons of time for this one to fully develop. There we go. And remember, these are bonus sweet potatoes. This is from the mother plant. This is not one that we planted as a slip. There we go, a nice bonus sneak peek from this bag. Well, we hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek look at the sweet potatoes that are coming your way. So I'm gonna repeat that question that I had at the beginning. What do you think? Which one will we get more of this season, the potatoes or the sweet potatoes? Are you team potato or team sweet potato? Let us know in the comments. And we hope you enjoyed this video, this little tour and explanation of what we still have growing in here. Check out those other harvest videos if you haven't done so already. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe. And most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.